I could not be more excited to talk about this topic because it is the number one thing that if we do not have aligned, then all of our work will not matter, regardless of what it is. So our mindset literally has the ability to control everything, literally everything. And so what exactly does that mean? It's going to control how we live our lives. It's going to control, like, do we take action on certain things or do we not take action? It's going to control how we make decisions. Like, do we make decisions out of direction for our life and I'm getting out of our comfort zone, or make decisions based off of fear and staying in our comfort zone, or even how we perceive emotions, how we perceive events. So are we going to let these difficult times define us, or are we going to get back up and get back after it and use it as a learning lesson? All of those things are so important. So the bottom line with this is, whether you believe that you can or can't, you're absolutely right. That's a powerful statement. You have to believe that you can actually do something in order to be able to do it. I'm going to say that again because that's so important. You have to actually believe that you can do something in order to be able to do it. It doesn't matter if you're doing all the things. If you don't actually think that you're capable of getting to the point where you want to be, you're not going to be able to get there. All of your mindset is going to completely hold you back from doing that. So I have a client story that has to show you the power of this, but I had a client who came into my program who was super excited to take action. She was exhausted all the time. She just wanted to feel better about herself, have more confidence. And so we sat down together. She'd always be super excited and like ready for like an action items list. It's exactly what she did. She was super excited. We like made her a plan, all the things. And then she would go home and like, she just wouldn't do it like at all. And so we had to have lots of hard conversations like, what is holding you back from like taking action? Like, what's going on? And so through numerous conversations, I finally looked at her one day and I said, let me ask you something. Like, do you actually believe that you can do this? Do you actually believe that you can actually feel better, that you can put in the work to get you where you want to get? And she was really quiet for a while and she said, I don't know. That was the defining moment that it was like, oh my gosh, you got to believe that you can do this in order to get there. So it was a game changer that we do that for her. So we worked on a lot of mindset shifts. And once we got over that hurdle, her results were amazing. She just needed to actually believe that she could become that person that she wanted to be. So where you are in life right now is defined by all the decisions that you've made up until this point. See, we've created the life that we're living. And so we have to embrace those moments. I'll say sometimes we're like, well, I'm not exactly like where I want to be. That's totally okay. What we can do is embrace where we are, be happy for the journey that we've been on to get there, and then be self-aware of the decisions that we've made to get to the point that we're at right now. And then decide that we're going to take action to get to the next place. Like, we decide that we don't want to stay here. There's so much more in store. So we commit that we're going to take action to get to the next best place. So we can't control everything, obviously, but we can control how we show up, how we feel, how we respond. So those are the important things to remember. And we get the opportunity to wake up every single day and decide what our mindset's going to be. Like, that's the power of this, is that you get to choose tomorrow when you wake up what you want your day to look like. So make it a good one. Make it one that helps you get closer to your goals. So I say this lovingly, but you were created to do something great. And it would be an absolute shame if you were unable to take all the talents and gifts that you've been given and not use it for a bigger impact. So stop living in the state of like fear and thinking you can't, when the reality is you can the second you start believing that you can. So how do we do this? That's the number one question, right? So I have a couple of things on this list to share with you guys that have worked for me drastically, but I just want to put a disclaimer out with this first and say, these things are probably things that are not going to surprise you, that you probably heard before, but if you don't do them, it won't matter. So you might sit there and be like, oh, that sounds great. Heard that before. Okay, great. Try it. Like, there's no harm in trying any of these things to see if it works for you, if it makes you feel better. All of those things. So that's my note to you. Like, even if it sounds trivial, just try it. Like, try it. It'll make a lasting impact. So first thing is starting your day off with gratitude, affirmations, and journaling. I know you're probably rolling your eyes right now, but what we're going to do is I'm going to break down those three things, what they say about those things and how they can impact you, because I think maybe then you can pick what's most important to you and how it can make a bigger impact on where you want to go. So first thing is gratitude list. Why do we do this? Because we have a tendency to focus on the things that aren't happening or the bad things versus all of the good things that are happening. We focus on the things that we're not doing versus all the things that we've been doing. We have a tendency to always focus on the bad. So the gratitude list allows us to focus on the good in life, to see how much good there is surrounding us, and to focus on things that we should be proud of, things that we should be appreciative for. So I watched this TED Talk years ago, and it just stuck with me for a long time, but it was basically on how to make yourself happier. So the guy said, in order to make yourself happier, what you do is you, every day for 21 days, write 3 things that you're grateful for. And once you write it once, you can't write it again. So if you say on the first day, I'm thankful for my family, then you can never write family again. So by the end of that 21 days, you're like pulling teeth to think of things that you might be thankful for. But it allows you to appreciate the big things, the little things that make such an impact in our lives that we usually don't say thank you for. So it just teaches you to be more appreciative. And the important thing about a gratitude list is like starting your day that way. So you just start out the day like, you know what, I am so blessed and grateful for everything that I have been given. I have been given this body that can move and has the ability to take care of itself. Like, I need to treat it and appreciate it the way it needs to be treated. So it's just a good way to appreciate yourself, appreciate your surroundings, your family, all of those things. Gratitude list is so important. It helps us to focus on the good in life. Next thing, affirmations. I feel like affirmations get a bad rap because people think affirmations are like me saying, I'm going to make $1 million by tomorrow. That's just not realistic at all. So affirmations, though, are what we put into action to help us believe those things that we want to do. Like, we write them out in present tense. We write them out and make sure they're realistic, because if they're not realistic, it's going to be degrading to yourself. You're going to be frustrated. But they help us define that person that we want to become. And not only that, but studies show that daily affirmations help us to increase our self-value so we think better of ourselves. And it also helps us to navigate when life throws us for a complete curveball, to hand it in a more regulated, emotional way. Don't we all want that? I think we definitely do. So I'm putting on here because I wrote a list of ones that I use pretty regularly because I wanted to share with y'all. So ones that I write down like daily are, I can choose the type of life that I want to live. I abandon my old habits and embrace new ones. I am a present mom of 2 who pours life, love, and encouragement into her kiddos. I can and will do the hard things. What I do today will create the person I want to be tomorrow. I'm getting better each and every day. So those are just some of the ones that I use regularly. I probably write down like 4 or 5 a day. I say them aloud. We talked about the power of writing things down in the planning training that we did. Write it down. It helps you to want to take action on it. That's what studies show. And also just saying it aloud. Like, the more you say it, the more you believe it. So that's the best thing you can do for yourself when you're feeling like you don't actually think that you can do it. Like, we have to put this thing into motion in order to believe it. So use that and use whatever it is for you. Like, if you're struggling with like being a present mom, like, write down, I am a super present mom and who's really involved in every aspect of her kids' lives. Like, whatever it is you want to become, make it into an affirmation and use them. They are so powerful. And then next is journaling with this. So journaling, you do not have to spend, like people think it was like you should spend 15 minutes journaling. Like no, like when you start out, like spend 2 minutes. And when I say 2 minutes, like what I mean by journaling, like a complete brain dump, whatever you feel, whatever kind of emotion, write it down. Why do we do this? The reason we'll do this is because we think a lot of things, and a lot of times we're not consciously aware of things that we are thinking of. So when we write them down, it makes us consciously aware of the things that we're thinking in our brain that we wouldn't normally know. And then that helps us when we look at the bigger picture. We're trying to control the outcome here, right? The person that we want to become. So all the variables of how we feel and our emotions all take part in who that person becomes. So if we don't know where the variables are, aka where your thoughts are, how you're feeling, then we can't control the outcome. We got to know the variables. It's just like we talked about in the training on finding balance with food, like tracking, why it's so important, because we need the data points to be able to change the outcome. We need to know what the variables are. And so when you put those all on paper, it helps you to logically like think, wow, yeah, I feel that way on this day of the week a lot. Like, what can I do to change that way that I feel, like control the outcome? It just helps you be more conscious of what those thoughts are. Plus, to be honest, it's really fun to go back to journaling, like, months down the road and just look at your progress and see how far you've come, how much you've been able to like regulate your emotions. It's pretty powerful. So take advantage of that too. So I'll be honest, every morning, my morning routine is that I wake up, I do a devotional, and then I have a little notebook right beside my bed. I take 10 minutes. I write down like 5 things I'm grateful for. I journal for like 2 or 3 minutes. And then I just whatever I'm feeling. And then I write down a couple of daily affirmations. And that's what I do. It takes me for that process, like a max, like 10 minutes. So it doesn't have to take up much of your time. I suggest you do it in the morning time, only because it's a great way to start your day. And like, if we can start our day on a positive note and a positive tune, then we can control the trajectory of our day. And that's the most important part. So there's that. And then I have a couple of other things to tell you too that have been impactful for me. This was something that I actually heard on a podcast probably like a year ago, but it stuck with me because I was like, this is so strong. Like, this goes back to, like, we always focus on things that we're not doing instead of the things that we've already done. So we have a tendency to say, like, it's not possible for me to achieve that goal. I'm not strong enough. I can't push hard enough. I can't take the action steps daily that I need to get there. When the reality is that what we've done in our past has proven just how strong and capable we are. So she said to make a list of all the things that have defined your character up till now, like all the tough times that you went through, that you were able to push, all of those times that you had emotional turmoil that you were able to overcome, all of the obstacles that have been thrown in your way, and what you did to take control of those situations. Like, all of those are so important, and we don't think about those things in hard times. We don't think about our capacity and how we've been able to handle those and how strong we are and how much we were able to push. So if you have that list, it's a great thing to pull out and just remind you just how far you've come, appreciate the journey, be able to say, like, you know what, I can do this because if I was capable of doing that, I can definitely do this. So that's a huge part of this, like just taking inventory of the things that you've done that have defined you to who you are today and will eventually continue to define you as you push through with those same attributes that you had before. Next is what we talked about, tracking. Like, always track the variables, because here's the thing. There will come a time when you will say, I am doing all the things and I am getting nowhere. I have that conversation with myself all the time. So I'm here to tell you, numbers don't lie. Data shows us what we need. That's why with my clients, like, we don't just take a scale measurements. We take pictures. We take body measurements. We take how are their clothes fitting, body's biofeedback. How are you feeling? Are you hungry? Are you tired? Because all of those things show progress. So when we're not seeing progress in one specific area, we need to step back and say, but like the journey is actually progressing me, whether I feel like it or not. Like the data and the numbers don't lie. So as long as we have data to go back to, we can have a peace of mind that all the things that we're doing are actually working. But you got to have the data to track it. So that's a huge part of it. So whatever you're trying to do, find a metric that you can track your success by. It doesn't have to be financial success. It doesn't have to be a number on a scale. It doesn't have to be that. Like it can be more of, I just wanted to feel this way. I wanted to get to this milestone, whatever it is for you. Take advantage of that and measure it until you get there. And then my last thing, and this is probably the most impactful thing you can do, but limit the things that bring you anxious thoughts, depressive thoughts, negative thoughts, all of that. Sometimes we're not even consciously aware of what those things are. Sometimes we are, but sometimes we're not. Prime example is for 21 Days of Prayer for Church this year, I gave up TV and listening to anything other than Christian music. It was really hard, but I didn't realize the impact in my life that like the negativity of the news and the negativity of the world and music, like I love country music, but like the whininess and just instead of like the lifting up of Christian music, like things like that, what we put in will go out. So what do you want that to look like for you? What do you want to involve in your life? Is it soul filling or is it soul depleting? Like, what do you want it to look like for you? If you struggle with like scrolling social media and playing the comparison game and thinking like, oh, she looks so good, like I can never get or never be like her, like take a social media break. Your actions are defining those feelings right now. And the best thing you can do for you is step away from the distraction and take a minute. So we need to get rid of those like negative things in our mind and just maybe take a break. I'm not saying you have to like give up TV or anything like that, but just be aware of the impact that it's playing in your life and find ways that might be more beneficial to creating more positivity in your life. It will make a huge impact. And stop being so hard on yourself. Like, life is too short to be giving yourself negative thoughts, especially as your mom. Like, our kids pick up on those things, so we don't need that to be the case all the time. I've heard some really sad stories of moms who were really hard on themselves and always trying to lose weight, and their daughters picking up a lot of those same habits, which are not healthy and not good for us. So stop being so hard on yourself. Positive self-talk 110% of the time. The bottom line, guys, is that mindset is what separates the best from the rest. Like, you get to cognitively choose every single day what type of person's going to show up. Who are you going to choose? Like, what are you going to choose? Are you going to be positive? Are you going to get out of your comfort zone? You're going to push yourself? You're going to actually take action on that person? Or are you just going to sit back and think like, it's just not possible, so it's not worth it to me? You get to decide. So I hope this was helpful for you. A lot of these practices, they seem trivial, they seem small, they seem like they wouldn't make a big difference. Big changes and big results come from doing small, consistent things over time. So take advantage of these small things. Try them, even just try them for a week and just say like, I'm going to commit to doing this for a week and seeing how I feel. Do it and just see what kind of impact it makes on your day. I mean, even if it makes just a little bit of impact, wouldn't it be worth it for 10 minutes? I think so. So if you guys have any questions or anything resonated with you, would love for you to drop it in the comments, but super excited for you guys to implement these things and hoping that it makes a lasting impact on your mindset and ultimately the goals that you're trying to work towards. So have a good one.